Hello everybody, my name is Iceberg Lettuce, and today we are here in the brand new Minecraft 1.17 Caves and Cliffs snapshot, which is 21W13A. This snapshot has added a brand new mob, which is the G.O.A.T, as well as some cave generation changes, and a brand new light block. Also, don't ask why I'm a Boy Scout, it's not important. Anyway, let's get right into everything that has been changed and added. So first off is obviously a brand new mob, which is the G.O.A.T. Now the G.O.A.T doesn't really do much at the moment besides spawn in the mountains. It doesn't have any drops, and the only interesting behavior it has at the moment is that it can jump really high, but according to Bedrock Edition, this one will eventually drop the G.O.A.T horn as an item, so we'll have to wait and see when that comes to Java what it actually does. Anyway, you can right now breed it using wheat, so two goats together you can breed them to make a baby goat. One baby goat, which will come out in just a second. There it is. And you can also use a bucket on the goat to obtain some milk. Next up, we've got a couple of changes to cave and ore generation. First up, bigger caves are more likely to spawn, so you'll run into big open caves more often. Iron generates more commonly, and diamond blobs can be a little bit bigger than they were in the previous snapshot. Next up, we've got some interesting changes to powder snow. First of all, burning entities will now melt powder snow, so I wanted to test this out with a zombie. So if we spawn the zombie in here and expose him to sunlight, he will eventually start to burn. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and if we drop him onto that powder snow, you see the powder snow actually gets destroyed because the burning entity went through it. A couple of other changes to powder snow. Strays, polar bears, and snow golems are now immune to the freezing effects of it, and that freezing effect will actually happen faster. Previously it took quite a long time for freezing to actually start hurting you, so that happens in 7 seconds now. Leather horse armor will protect horses from freezing damage, and blazes, magma cubes, and striders will take extra damage from powder snow. In addition, powder snow placed on top of grass blocks now gives that grass block the snowy grass block texture. A couple more cave generation changes. Dripstone can now generate in patches in normal caves, so I flew around in caves for a bit, and you will see patches of dripstone blocks and dripstone stalactites and stalagmites in just normal caves. In addition, deep slate blocks can be found between Y levels 0 and 16 in blobs. Axolotls and glow squids will actually spawn naturally in the game now. They don't require any specific biomes or anything, just in water sources deep in the underground you will find some axolotls and glow squids spawning. They're pretty rare though. I flew around for quite a while and I was only able to find a couple examples of these guys spawning. A couple changes to axolotl behavior. Axolotls will now hunt after drowned and both types of guardians. Previously they only chased after all of the normal peaceful water mobs when they weren't being tempted with fish, but now they will on purpose hunt after any type of underwater mob, even the hostile ones. And also they prefer hostile mobs, so they will try to hunt after a drowned more than a cod, and they have a 2-minute cooldown after hunting down a mob. I'm assuming this is because people were making some fish farms using axolotls that were super powerful, and they just relied on axolotls eating all of the fish really quickly, so they have added a cooldown to axolotl attacks now. Bees will now treat flowering azaleas and flowering azalea leaves as if they were flowers, so they will be able to fly over to these blocks and pollinate on them. A couple changes to some trades and loot chests. The Mason Villager will now sell dripstone blocks, and the Wandering Trader will now sell pointed dripstone, rooted dirt, and moss. This is pretty useful if you are a skyblock player. You'll be able to get some of the new blocks now. Shipwrecks can now have moss blocks in their loot chests, and mine shafts can contain glowberries in their loot chests. Next up to what I think is probably the most exciting addition of this snapshot, which is the light block. Now if we set the time to midnight here, you can see that there is something glowing in the middle of this platform, but you can't actually see it. And that is because it is an invisible light block, which looks like this, and when we hold this item in our hand, you can actually see and break that light block. But when you're not holding it in your hand, it becomes completely invisible and intangible. So it's just a completely invisible block of light that you can use to, make maps and stuff in creative mode. This cannot be obtained in survival mode, obviously, and the only way to obtain it in creative mode is using a command, just like with barrier blocks and command blocks. And so, another interesting thing, if we hold this light block in our hand and we right click it, you can actually cycle through all of the different light levels, so this gives you a lot of customization in how you want your builds to be lit up and look. So that's just about all there is to talk about. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time everybody. Bye!